Hey, I'm just happy we finally got some damn rain. On a beautiful and overcast Wednesday afternoon. Greetings, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. How the hell are you? Welcome into Beyond Ringside Live on this 29th day of April. From Studio One, the control center, if you will, yours truly, the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Study Layne, welcoming in tag team partner, the one and only, the trivia master, the promoter, the incomparable Shane Noles. What's up?
Very much enjoying the rain that we've had over the last day and a half as I can breathe out of both nostrils for the first time since the 1st of February.
About to say that pollen count should have dropped to 0 by now. I noticed one of my cars that I have not been able to wash lately. It's like, yeah, it's supposed to be copper brown. It's not supposed to be like green. But guess what? It's back to copper brown in most places. Kind of wish I'd have been out there at 3 o'clock in the morning when it was coming down strong with a nice little sponge or a scrubber and just go ahead and hand wipe all that stuff off. I'd have been good. My pressure washer has been down. Therefore, it's like I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with it. It should be easy. It's a relatively easy fix, I'm sure. Just a matter of being able to sit down and do it. Because with my new schedule, it's been a little bit difficult, and I'll cover that a little bit later. Let's jump right on in. Ted Guinness originally supposed to join us this afternoon, unable to make it today. We'll get him back very soon. And of course, before we go into lead, thank you to everyone for all the feedback from this past Sunday. That's why on the podcast feed, it's called Here's Your Soundbite. I didn't do what I did just for shock value, for hot takes or anything like that. I simply told what I feel to be the truth. And if you have not had a chance to hear this past Sunday, I only went about 45, 48 minutes on it. There were some things I really wanted to cover, and I decided to leave it at that. I didn't want to go very long-winded on certain things, but I said what I said, and I meant every damn word of it. And let me clarify one little thing for somebody who sent me a message. No, I am not telling people to drop WWE. I've never said that. I've never said to drop any promotion. I'm saying there comes a time where you feel like you're persecuting yourself by watching a certain show. Sit back, take a break, keep an eye on the results and things like that. If you're watching social media, once again, also that other part, I'm not anti-WWE. I'm anti some of the BS that's going on right now. But I had to be very clear and concise when I said, when you mention their name in a social media platform, what they're seeing is, hey, they're talking about us. We can use that as artillery to take it to our sponsors and say, we're getting this much social media reaction. It's the old school phrase that pays. As long as you spell my name right, say whatever the hell you want, because I'll probably never read it. So that's the logic behind it. Moving into it, I was very happy to find out that the news dropped about NXT and their deal with the CW expanding to where now the premium live events for NXT will be shown on the CW. I'm sitting back going, I'm ready for this. This is going to be cool. This is for people who have, of course, basic cable, YouTube TV, DirecTV, Dish, but also those who have over-the-air access to be able to catch the CW on a traditional antenna for free. With the PLEs, the premium live events, now being available on the CW itself as part of CW Sports, taking a larger footprint in this whole scenario. We have another chapter to add to this particular story, or a new page to add to the chapter. I'll leave it at that. The CW and ESPN have announced that the two sides have agreed to a deal that will see all CW sporting events stream on ESPN Unlimited. So for those of you that now get the ESPN package, WWE NXT premium live events will be made available on ESPN Unlimited as well as the CW. And now this whole story gets another nice little addition to it, just when you think it cannot get any better. Let's do this, because NXT is also coming to the Roku channel. If this isn't great news, I don't know what is. See, I love to be able to sit back in this chair in front of this microphone, in front of my screens, and be able to deliver good news. Very few people have that much negative to say about NXT. I'm one of them. It's rare when they do something, what, how, who, when, where, why. But yet this one, Premium Phase 1, NXT's been on the CW for a little while now, which is free over the air, in addition to basic cable, basic subscription services. Now you add the premium live events to the CW, so you can get those potentially at no additional charge as well. Go from there. Add the ESPN Unlimited partnership. So if you've already got ESPN Unlimited, guess what? You can DVR it through there unless you have a DVR for your over-the-air antenna, which is a thing, believe it or not. And now NXT is going next day on the Roku channel. If there's a downside to this, somebody please tell me at Beyond Ringside on Twix, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside. If you see a downside to this, please let me know what that is. Shane Noles, come on in. Your thought about this triple play.
As you just laid it out for me, I could not find a negative there. More exposure for NXT across a variety of different ways to watch. Yeah, solid across the board.
I mean, think about it like this. You add the CW, a lot of the stuff from the CW, they will have their own hub on the Roku channel to feature over 800 hours reportedly of CW library content. Can you please bring back the Arrowverse and make it count this time? So, legitimately speaking, it's just you're adding layer upon layer upon layer to make it easier for people to find a product. So, this is where I say this. Look, I said it a second ago. Shane echoed the sentiment. Very few people have things negative to say about the way things are taking place on NXT. You had a number of call-ups over the last week or so. Then from there, you've had a number of entries coming into, including one of my favorite people who just left New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I'm referring to former IWGP Heavyweight Champion in the form of Evil, made his debut on WWE NXT last night, going face-to-face with Tony D'Angelo, the current NXT champion. That's a match I want to see. Because with the number of people that have departed from New Japan lately, I'm worried about the company as a whole. I know their dojo system is very good. It's solid. It's strong. But when you have a number of different people leave over a short period of time, it's like, how are we going to build stars that quickly? Now, I will toss this one over to my colleague on this one. One of our primary concerns about the main roster is the questionable ability to build new talent. With some of the call-ups that have transpired, especially that of Obafemi coming in, especially where he was, and then being elevated and made all the way to WrestleMania. Do we have... Okay, I can't say we on this one. How are your fears allayed at any point that they are finally getting it together to help create new stars that can carry them even further?
Well, I mean, Braun Breaker is back now, allegedly healthy. And man, with the new haircut does he not look more like Rick Steiner than ever?
Yeah.
Funny to see his name mentioned, Steiner repeatedly by Rollins. And I'm like, yes, let Seth Rollins be the transformation here where we get away from the last name Breaker, which is silly from the first day. Randy Orton is Bob Orton's son. He's not known as Randy Punisher. It's Randy Orton. Braun Steiner, not Braun Breaker. But anyway, speaking to that, Obafemi, I mean, everything's been gold so far, but I'm going to go in a different direction here on this. Jacob Fatu, who could still be considered new, as he's been with the main roster less than 2 years. I want to get your thoughts on something here, because Jacob Fatu is in that handful of a mix of guys that you would consider newer stars, so to speak. I have loved everything about the buildup with Roman Reigns. And I promise this is not, for longtime listeners of this show, this is not a detriment to Shane just hates Roman Reigns. I said last week I loved the match with he and Punk, and I thought it was the best Reigns had looked in quite a while. But when Roman Reigns makes the statement after Mania that enough of this part-time stuff, y'all better make room for my ass this summer. Okay, cool. Rather than doing the SOS, and I don't mean same old situation from Motley Crue, where Roman Reigns defeats Jacob Fatu at Backlash and has him acknowledge him and join whatever semblance of a bloodline we're doing again, I put Jacob Fatu over at Backlash. When he debuted, whatever you want to call it, the mandible claw, the love handle on Roman Reigns, I had him beat him. Now, I'm not saying Fatu holds the belt Bob Backlund or CM Punk or even Roman Reigns length. I'm just saying to kickstart something into the summer, you could have a nice back and forth on that one. Your thoughts, Eddie?
I'm very outspoken about the way that things have transpired with Jacob Fatu. This kid has it. Legitimate.
And he's different.
Yes. Yes. And that's part of that IT factor. And by IT, I don't mean information technology. I mean it, damn it. To put things in play, I think that for as organic as the face turn was becoming for Fatu because of the way people were getting behind him, I think that they over pushed it heading toward Mania. Because you still have a situation going into Mania where you have those that are genuinely riding that train with Fatu, and you still have those that are damn sure solidly in the Drew McIntyre camp. For as much as I loved the factor of them having that match, I thought it was too soon. Especially an unsanctioned match. I would have probably gone a different direction on the stipulation, but that's just me. I believe in long-form, slow-burn builds. I think they are priceless when done right. Now, I was completely taken off guard because, once again, I really don't read what's supposedly going to be. And coming up tonight, we're going to have Jacob Fatu come out and confront Roman Reigns. I didn't see all that. So it was a surprise when it's like, what? I don't know if I'm quite ready for that. I think that he's proven himself to a great degree. I think that Jacob and Roman could have an excellent match. I think Roman would have to step up the pace a little bit. One of the reasons why the CM Punk Roman Reigns match was as good as it was is because they took their time. They built the match. They created a very nice work of art in a WrestleMania main event. That's why I gave it an A++. Plain and simple. The match that I get in trouble when I say this. It's the match that saved WrestleMania.
By far. Yeah. Without that match, that just about that entire card seemed like a Raw or a SmackDown for the most part.
Because I wouldn't have had, I mean, for as much as I appreciated the fact that they were being put on the ESPN linear instead of the Unlimited for that match, for the unsanctioned match, I think that they could have done better going for a cage match or something of that ilk and then build to the unsanctioned. We've tried everything else. Just screw it. Let them fight. We've gone through the cage. We don't have to do a Texas death match. We don't have to do a street fight. We just go straight to unsanctioned after a cage. When the cage is normally a blow off. Traditional logic applies.
Let me interject one more thing. What I mean
go
by
ahead.
SOS, not to the level of Obafemi Brock Lesnar, where it's under 5 minutes. But I'm just thinking everything you just said about Roman's going to have to change his style. What if Fatu caught him in a quick one in a match that was under 10 minutes? He takes the belt. And then, you know what? You could have Roman beat him the next PLE, or you could even have it SummerSlam, however you want to do it. Maybe it takes a little longer to make Fatu acknowledge him. Like he stands out differently as the guy because he can beat Reigns.
Okay, Backlash is going to be on May 9th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That means, in principle, we have a week and a half for them to do something. One more episode of Raw. And that's going to be on May 4th. This to me is the epitome of a rocket build, as in lightning build, because you're going to have one more show to where you're going to be able to get one every 18. And I really hope, don't get me started on prices. I hope this is one where they can legitimately sell out. See, I do say nice things. It would be a shock to the system, and I mean the overall system, if Fatu goes over with the World Championship this quick. Would it be unwelcome?
It's a chance to make somebody.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's just my initial thought here, because Reigns is at that level. He's at that dude, and I'm just afraid that if he beats Fatu and has him acknowledge him after the match or the next night on Raw, well, then where are we moving? I mean, because Breaker's not there with Reigns. I hate to keep interrupting you, but the reason I'm advocating for this, I just want to make it clear that I don't think Jacob Fatu should take the belt and have a tremendously long reign. But I'm talking about for a shock factor and also to elevate someone that I'm okay with Reigns beating him in a rematch. But maybe it just takes a little longer for Fatu to acknowledge, if he ever does, the tribal chief, because he's different.
Would it surprise you if they had Jacob versus Jay this Monday on Raw, and Roman with the stipulation, hey, you got a chance to beat a former world champion right here. If you can knock off a former world champion, I have no choice but to take you seriously.
Then I would have him plow right through Uso. And I would have Roman Reigns with those beautiful Dave and Buster fake veneer teeth he's got, with his jaw slacked, looking at what just happened to Uso at courtesy at the hands of Fatu, because then at that point, he takes him 100% different. No more smug cockiness of, I'm the tribal chief. It's the big Vince McMahon exaggerated gulp of, my ass might be in trouble. And that sells it to the fans, because the fans are wanting to get behind a guy. For whatever you think, they're not behind Cody Rhodes, as Ted Guinness alluded to, for many reasons. They're looking for that next dude. And again, because of Fatu's different, just everything, the intensity, the look, the way he carries it. Again, I just think, boom, pop it after that Backlash, and let's see what the crowd, how they take to it.
Oh, they lose their absolute mind in a great way. If Jacob Fatu were to face Roman Reigns at Backlash and go over, especially in a decisive manner, oh boy, I would almost be willing to say, why not put Jacob over Clubber Lang versus Rocky Balboa the first fight? Catch him completely off guard. And lo and behold, have Roman with something, it's like, the idea for me was have Jacob face Jay on Raw, have Jacob do the honors for Jacob to continue that upward motion. There's a way to do it without looking weak. Trust me. Sometimes you gain more in that loss than you do in the win. And yes, that has been proven year after year after year in the pro wrestling industry. Look, if they were to do this and Jacob goes over, I would be out of my chair applauding, going, holy fecal matter. If they do,
because I'm with you, under the guise of the traditional WWE build, this does seem lightning fast. I mean, Jacob Fatu just beat Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania on the opening match that was on ESPN Linear on Saturday, and then all the way into the title picture, where he's breaking out the mandible claw and leaving Reigns subdued and out of breath.
The fun part of that scenario is you already had the situation in play that you could have built on because Drew McIntyre is a former multi-time champion in WWE. I think they dropped the ball by not mentioning that.
Right. Just held the belt as recently as this year.
Yeah. I mean, you can take things in so many different directions on that. Now, the only thing that's with the strategic positioning on the rosters, Jacob Fatu still technically, I believe, is a member of the SmackDown roster. Therein lies the rub, because you had Cody Rhodes, the former heavyweight champion on Raw. CM Punk, the former heavyweight champion over on Raw, eyeballing Cody's championship from over on SmackDown. Are we going to have a clean talent swap where Punk goes to Friday and Jacob comes to Monday? Or do you see a possible setup where Drew says, "Oh, but hell no"? Could you see Jacob and Roman where Drew interferes and costs Jacob the match?
I wouldn't mind that as much, because Drew does have an axe to grind. No pun intended with his Celtic Warrior status, whatnot. But I mean, yeah, I still wouldn't do it. Just on initial thought, I wouldn't.
It would be a very precarious situation, because the main thing. Go ahead.
My one more thing, and I think you alluded to it. I think a Jacob Fatu clean victory over Reigns at Backlash not only sets us up for something during the summer of, I better take this guy seriously. He's different than the rest of the bloodline. But two, boy, could that erase some of the bad taste in the universe's mouth coming off of WrestleMania.
Confirmed and very true. I mean, like I said, you could actually, I think the predictable thing, if they do it, is to have Jay get jealous and say, if anybody's going to do it, it's me. Therefore, recreating the friction that originally was held between Jay and Roman. But I don't know if fans want to see that all over again. I'm iffy on it.
Question: does Jacob Fatu have a clean loss in WWE yet?
I don't think so.
Then I would not pull the trigger with it the first time with Roman.
Yeah, because the first time you have that indisputable loss, it does bear a psychological play for a lot of people. Now, once again, I'm referring to those 30 and over, because 29 and under don't necessarily go with the win-loss thing, which is something that I hated when AEW dropped the, 7 wins in the last 9 matches, stuff like that. Give me the stats, because you've got a lot of people out there who do play with those stats. Not just us in the broadcast industry, not just those who do podcasts. And yes, I put a qualifier on those, because we're not doing a live podcast. We're doing internet radio. It becomes a podcast later in life. And sometimes same day, sometimes a week later. Hello. Did I fail to mention the fact that I pretty much am executive producer on this, and I'm able to get stuff done when I'm able to get it done? I know that sounds very flippant, and I apologize for that to a great degree. But, hey, that's where my shoulders are carrying that part of that load. But because I like doing it. I know that's a weird swerve for me to say, because I like doing it. And I'm not, because of the fact that, we are where we are in a financial position on the Beyond Ringside project. I'm not going to ask anybody else to do something that I can't pay them to do at this point. That's another reason why I do shoulder that load. It's like, yep, I don't have the money to pay people to do that. So therefore, guess what? I'll do it. Yeah. That's why the YouTube thing hasn't been there for the last couple of weeks. Sorry about that, folks. I know I've been getting good results on that too. But lo and behold, I'll also come back and ask the question: would they risk an argument? Lo and behold, you've got a school of thought in place that because of how Oba dispatched Brock, some would say that he should be in line for the title shot before Jacob, because Jacob's been on the other show. And getting the win that Oba did over Brock in the method that he did Some would say that should push him higher than Jacob in the overall list of or the hierarchy, if you will. There's a lot of ways that this can go, and if Roman is actually go ahead.
I guess my closing thought on this for me: if you're going to do the lightning build, do the lightning holy crap finish.
Yeah.
Don't do this with Fatu just to have him beat you. You're already here.
True. You're there. Make the moment count. That's the best way to look at it. Folks, tell you what, we are going to take a quick one. Shane and I will return in just a moment. This is Beyond Ringside Live.